Breaking right now, a bombshell new report from the Daily Mail suggests that Prince Harry faces the release of confidential immigration files after President-elect Trump vowed he wouldn't protect him because he betrayed the Queen.
Breaking news rocking royal watchers everywhere. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry caught in what insiders are calling a calculated PR stunt to cover up a serious marriage crisis.
So, the week just gets worse for Prince Harry. I'm joined now by royal YouTube sensation P.DINA to analyse this. P.DINA, great to have you here. But let me just read what the Daily Mail is reporting exactly, because this is really fascinating and worth analysing. So their report, which has just been released, says Prince Harry's immigration documents may finally be made public now that he will no longer be shielded by the Biden White House after Donald Trump's sensational election victory. A Trump presidency means the Heritage Foundation is more likely to win its long-running bid for the Duke of Sussex's records, which until now have been blocked by the outgoing president's administration. And then Niall Gardner, who's a very good man, he is the director of the Heritage Foundation's Margaret Thatcher Centre for Freedom, said he now believes there is a strong possibility the think tank will be able to successfully appeal the decision. Now, that's what Gardner says. I do think there's a strong possibility that this could happen. It's the president's prerogative. Also, the new Homeland Security Secretary could order a review of Harry's immigration application. There are multiple things that could happen, but it would be in the best interests of the American people if the Trump administration released Prince Harry's records for public scrutiny, and Harry should be held to account. Now, according to Gardner, the Biden White House has bent over backwards to protect Prince Harry, and that protection is going to come to an end after the inauguration. And Niall Gardner added, releasing Harry's immigration records would send a very strong message about applying the rule of law equally to everyone. So, P.DINA, this was the worst nightmare of Harry and Meghan. They were absolutely desperate to avoid Donald Trump back in the White House. What are you hearing, and what do you think is going to go on with this court case now?
All right.
From stage photo ops to suspicious silence, the truth is slipping through the cracks. What are they hiding? And more importantly, why now?
Well, I would be very concerned if I were Harry and Meghan. I think this is something that is going to definitely bite them because, you know, it was their worst nightmare, and I think they feared it for a long time. I think it was why they ended up trying to, or looks like they got something in Portugal. I mean, it can't really be confirmed, but I just think they're really scared right now because this is going to open up a whole floodgate of things that are going to contradict the things that he's been talking about. I mean, you talk about misinformation. You talk about trying to give people information to be trustworthy, and you yourself are lying about these things. You have, I believe, said that you did not take drugs. I 100% believe that. This is why he did not allow it to be revealed. This is why there was so much pushback to even allow the information to come out, because he lied and then he said something else in his book. So Harry has got a lot of problems. This is just going to compound that. Nothing is going right for them here in the States. Nothing around their branding, their careers is successful. I mean, they had that one Netflix documentary that was successful because they were bashing the royals, but nothing that they're doing is going to legitimize them to be credible people. And it's just going to expose Harry. And it will happen. It will definitely come out, I believe, now that they're appealing the Heritage Foundation. So, yeah.
Because that's the thing, you just have to use some common sense, don't you? Top immigration lawyers will have been behind Harry's entry into the US. This is what happens with rich people, with celebrities, and it's how they often get around the system. Now, there is no way any lawyer is going to say, oh yeah, be honest about the fact that you've taken loads of illegal drugs in America. There's just no way. They're not going to do that. So I don't believe Harry was honest on the forms. I know we don't have categorical proof of that, but is now the only argument that he could potentially make, P.DINA, is, oh, I was lying in my book anyway. Because we know he lied about lots of other things in the book.
Right, exactly. And people are just going to look at him and they just know that Harry and Meghan don't tell the truth anyway. So anything that they say is not credible. They're hypocrites. They contradict themselves with what they say, than what they do. It's just exposing them to be hypocritical people. And this is why I think they have such a low approval rating here in the States, because people look at them now as these grifters and they're a laughing stock. And Harry and Meghan, I just don't see how they'll be able to move forward with this over their heads. Like you are literally waiting to be exposed by this administration. How do you sleep? How do you even try to move forward to have a brand, to have something commercially viable when you are going to at any moment now be exposed to be this big liar? And there's proof of it. I mean, we know that Meghan had proof of it when she lied about colluding with the Finding Freedom authors. And then it came out in the court case, oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I did. I did, work with them. I forgot. It's like everything that they do is a dud. They are just, and it's fun for me just to sit and watch them try to gain latitude with all the things that they're trying, because they're going to keep failing, and it's so pleasing to watch considering how they've behaved towards so many people, their families. It's like pure justice to people who are getting their karma back for all the things that they have done. In the beginning, we know that they thought they were on top of the world, leaving the royal family. They're newly married. They're going to come out and do all these great things. And now they've been smacked down by big people things. I mean, nothing is going their way commercially. Now it looks like the government is going to expose Harry with this revealing of information. I hope it does happen. It just seems, yeah, sweet justice.
Stick around as we break down the shocking timeline, the subtle clues, and the damning evidence that's blowing this story wide open. Let's start with what kicked it all off. The sudden appearance of the couple at a charity gala in LA last week.
Yeah, totally. Sweet justice. And the thing is, the book has been a disaster on so many levels. I mean, look at this, by the way. Courtney Cox had to come out publicly and say, oh, I wasn't actually passing mushrooms out, because that's what Harry claimed when he was staying with her for a couple of days. And he claimed that there were hallucinogenic chocolates from her fridge. Now, I actually imagine that he was telling the truth. But the thing is, Harry is so stupid and so selfish, P.DINA. He doesn't give a damn, and he never thinks about the repercussions of his revelations, because Courtney Cox is probably thinking, goodness me, I could get in trouble with the law here. I can't be seen as someone who condones drug use at these parties. And then we also had the situation, didn't we, with his Afghanistan information too, where he didn't think for one moment about the consequences of admitting that he'd killed a number of Taliban soldiers, but now wants the UK government and wants his dad to actually step in and overrule the UK government's decision not to provide him with security. It's like, Harry, you are a private citizen now. There are repercussions for the decisions that you make. And when it comes to Donald Trump, you were stupid enough to take on someone who always had a very good chance of becoming the most powerful man in the world again. But I think you're right. When they first moved to Montecito, they believed, and honestly, this is true, they believed that it could actually be Meghan who was entering the White House at this time. They thought their launch was going to be so successful, P.DINA, that she was going to become such a significant figure in the Democratic Party. And I know this because people close to her told me this is what she was plotting during her time in the royal family, that by this point, by this election, she could be the Democratic nominee. Now, of course, she's so toxic that I presume the party wouldn't want to go anywhere near her, although stranger things have happened. But the point is, even if she had run, she would have been thrashed by Trump too. So yeah, the whole thing is just completely disastrous. But I think it does show you how much things have changed for them in just 4 years, because they got every decision wrong.
Right. And this is the thing, you left the royal family where everything was controlled. You had everyone doing all these things for you. They thought about these things. They made sure that things that could come out later were taken care of, because you're working in real time. But you have advisors, very smart people who are looking to the future and what could happen. You left that royal that, what do you call it, that protection. And now you're a free person out in the real world, and you don't know how to navigate that successfully because you don't have these advisors helping you anymore. And this is part of the problem. And the advisors that they do have, they don't listen to them. And this is when you have such a big ego that you don't want to listen to other people that can guide you in a way that is more, you'll be more successful if you listen to the people that know what they're talking about. But the ego on these two is so big that they think that they have all the answers, and they don't, and they failed miserably. And people, when I started my channel, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be that voice of reason. The mistakes that were being made by Meghan in particular, you need to stop doing these things. You are making so many mistakes. And if they had just listened, they would have done such great things. But there's no way Meghan's going to be in politics. There's no way Harry's going to ever be much more than what he is now. And I believe this is what is going to get Meghan to start looking the other way. I believe this is Harry's downfall within his own relationship with Meghan, because she is, I think, looking like, this is not what I want anymore. This is a man that really can't do much more for me at this point because he's exposed. I mean, look at the trouble he's gotten himself in. Do you think this woman is going to want to stay with a man with everything that has happened where he's just essentially going down? He has nothing really going for him that looks good to Meghan to want to even stay with him. And especially if the king ends up doing, or something happens to these titles, especially, it's over for Harry. You're nothing in America right now. And Meghan needs someone who is an American that can navigate this country more successfully, because Harry can't navigate America successfully to benefit her. And this is why I think he's going to be on the cutting ropes.
The matching outfits, the exaggerated smiles, the conveniently placed paparazzi. Sources claim the entire moment was carefully orchestrated to project unity. But behind the scenes, insiders say it was all smoke and mirrors.
Indeed. And what's so interesting, P.DINA, look, I know Trump obviously divides, but if you just look at what actually he said about Harry in relation to the visa, I genuinely believe if you polled the public and you didn't say it was Donald Trump that had made these comments, probably 95% of people would agree. So this was at the Political Action Conference in Oxon Hill, and he said, I wouldn't protect him. He betrayed the Queen. That's unforgivable. He would be on his own. And I think those words are really important, P.DINA, because he's not saying, I would go out of my way to deport Harry. He's not saying this would be a cause. But remember, the cause has been taken on by the Heritage Foundation. And the Heritage Foundation is a conservative think tank which absolutely likes what Donald Trump does. What he's saying is he wouldn't provide protection for Harry. And Biden and the Biden administration absolutely has.
They did, yes. And he will be on the chopping block. I think once that lawsuit, that appeal goes through and, it's time to reveal information, the Trump administration will just allow it to come out. And there's no protection at this point. Of course, yeah, like you were saying that, he won't go out his way to do it. But it will definitely be a lot easier for that information to now come out and be exposed. And I'd be very concerned if I were Harry. Absolutely.
Now, of course, we know that Harry and Meghan are using the New York Post these days. It's quite hilarious, P.DINA, because they claim to hate tabloid newspapers, don't they? They absolutely hate tabloid newspapers unless they have a tabloid newspaper on their side. And hilariously, for some reason, it is the New York Post, which is a Rupert Murdoch-owned tabloid. And they are doing the PR bidding for Harry and Meghan these days. And there was a fascinating story, which I'll just show you here, which was about Harry's visit to NATO. And it said, Prince Harry proudly displays Meghan Markle wedding photo during the NATO virtual meeting. And what they claim in this article is that he's still very much in wedded bliss. And this, P.DINA, is because in the NATO meeting, you can see behind Harry the picture of his wedding to Meghan Markle. Now, that's clutching at straws, isn't it? If that's the only confirmation we're going to receive that they are apparently this happy couple when they haven't been seen in public together for so many weeks, when we know that there is a professional separation, and when we have Lady Colin Campbell reporting on this show that Meghan now holds Harry in contempt.
This might just be the beginning of a very public unravelling, or a desperate move to keep private matters under wraps. Whatever the case, the curtain is lifting.
Yes, I think when you have to tell people or show people that we're still together, then there's a problem that perhaps maybe you're not together because you're trying to show people something that is not a reality. You're trying hard to cover up something. This is a cover up. And this is them trying to show that there's nothing wrong with our marriage. Everything is fine. So let's just play the part because celebrities do it all the time. They have to because it's contingent on the success of their brand. And so it doesn't make sense that Harry would show us that they're not together. I mean, he has to because they have to make money. They have to look like all is well. So I just think it reveals a lot that you had to go out of your way to show us a photo of Meghan in the background, but when you're out in public, when you are together, and the amount of times that you're not together gives us a picture of what the reality is. And the fact that you're trying to show us something tells us that something is wrong. And I don't buy it for 1 minute. Absolutely not.
Well, the thing is, P.DINA, look, you're a Hollywood woman. You have that background. Isn't the perfect example here Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith, who actually for years and years and years pretended that they remained in wedded bliss. We all knew that wasn't the case. And I actually agree with Lady C. I think there's a possibility that Harry and Meghan may stay together formally for a very long time because there isn't a backup plan. No one had that. But to try and suggest that things are still going well is farcical.
It is farcical, and it's just because it's all contingent, like I said, on them making money, and they will keep doing it until I believe Meghan finds a better American option. She needs that American person to help her propel her to the next level, whatever that may be for her. So yes, they will continue to try to be together as long as they can on camera, right, in news articles, but the reality is completely different. There's just no way that this woman wants to still be with a man that can't really do anything for her. Harry is a joke. He is comical. He's not taken seriously here in the States, and we've seen Meghan and how she moves. We have the pattern, and we can see that she is the kind of person that moves on once you're no longer able to do much for her. And until that happens, yeah, they'll play the part, make it look like they're still together. And we'll keep talking about it, but we know what the reality is for them.
I mean, look, this has always been something that happens in royal relationships as well, P.DINA. I mean, Prince Charles, then Prince Charles, and Princess Diana tried to make their marriage function for many years. They still went on tours. And this is why it's very important that, yes, of course, we have our sources, but so much of this is about actually what people can see with their own eyes. And we see a completely different dynamic in terms of body language with Harry and Meghan when they're in public now, even on a tour, compared to when they were in public when he was drunk on love.
Are Meghan and Harry facing a real marriage crisis? Or is this just the media fanning the flames? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think it's all an act, or are they just misunderstood? We'll be reading every single one. And remember, this story is far from over. New details are emerging daily, so hit that like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.